Star Wars fans, we have got to talk about these new insane plot leaks about Obi-Wan and Darth Vader from the Obi-Wan Kenobi Disney Plus show. I want to break them down and also add some things that I have heard to sort of fill in the gaps between what is in this new leak. A spoiler warning, let's get into it. What is up, everybody? It's Josh coming at you from Nerd Avengers Tower as per usual. And man, this is really exciting stuff. This is coming from Jason Ward over at MakingStarWars.net. And I believe this to be real. And I think I can add some to this and sort of fill in some of the gaps that they are talking about in this leak here. So I actually have the Reddit post pulled up about this, but you can go check out the actual article if you want to get the full details over at MakingStarWars.net. But these bullet points do a great job of sort of explaining the main takeaways from the show. So it says here, number one, we are getting peak Obi-Wan Kenobi in this series. Now, I believe in the article, it's actually hinted that this line of when last we met, I was but the learner and you were the master, but now I am the master. And apparently the context of that line is going to sort of be changed or sort of retconned to have a new meaning. And that is because in this fight he's about to have with Obi-Wan Kenobi, apparently we're going to see Kenobi even more powerful than we saw him at Revenge of the Sith, and this may have something to do with training he has done with his old master via the Force, Qui-Gon, but that's kind of a rumor. That's not in these leaks.
I hate it when he does that.
Next bullet point here, it says Obi-Wan is dispatched to rescue a prisoner that is very important to the cause. Now, let's stop for a second here. I do want to say big time spoilers here, but we believe this to be Leia Organa. Now, interesting little note about this. Why is he sort of dancing around this, right? Why isn't Jason just coming out and saying that it is Leia? Well, from what I understand, when it was leaked out that Leia is going to be a big part of the show, Disney was furious, and Lucasfilm did not want that being put out there, and so it's very possible that he is not talking about that, because people at Disney were like, bro, don't talk about that. You know what I mean? And maybe some of the connections that he had are like, do not talk about this aspect of it. But it's really, really interesting. And to me, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say I believe that to be Leia. And a lot of the things I've seen indicate that that is Leia Organa. Let's continue forward. It says here, the prisoner is being held captive by Inquisitors, of which the main one is played by Moses Ingram. I wonder if that will indeed be the Grand Inquisitor. I have heard, obviously, that the Inquisitors are going to be heavily involved in this show, and that, yes, the Grand Inquisitor will be a big part of this show as well, and sort of establishing the Inquisitorian, that whole thing in that side of the empire is a big thing that will happen in the show. Let's read on. It says here, the success of this mission catches Vader's attention and he departs his castle in his TIE advance. That's super hyped up. It implies that he will be rescuing Leia throughout the course of the show from the Inquisitor, so we'll likely get some awesome fighting between Kenobi and the Inquisitors. That's super hyped up here. It says here, in the duel with Vader, Obi-Wan is wearing what looks very similar to his Revenge of the Sith outfit, but without the robes. It's just a white tunic and it's tattered. It says that the Vader suit appears to be much identical to the one in Rogue One. Now, this is kind of interesting here. It says that Obi-Wan appears very confident during the duel. He immediately recognizes who's under the suit. That's pretty wild. I know some fans of canon might have an issue with that, but it seems like Kenobi's going to be very powerful. It says here, when Vader gets ready to engage, Obi-Wan force pushes him what looked like 50 feet. It says Vader is launched into the air and hits a rock wall. Vader slowly gets up and advances towards his moment of revenge. The ground and rock formation of the duel looked like Jeddah, but it could be a completely different planet. Looked like the Vasquez Rocks in Southern California. The duel is massive and took 2 weeks to shoot back in August. Hayden Christensen was not in the suit during these fight sequences shot in August. However, that's not to say Hayden doesn't do anything. So that's kind of the whole idea there. So let's speculate about this, man. Let's talk about what this means, because it's pretty freaking crazy.
It's crazy talk. Hello there, viewers of this video. It's me, Boba Josh, watching this video just like you. Frankly, I find most of regular Josh's content to be absolutely pointless and majorly cringe. But this video is actually pretty fire. I'm gonna smash the like button, and you should too. Let's continue watching. Maybe he'll learn to make better content.
First of all, let's talk about this whole idea of Vader sort of being at the castle, doing his thing like he was in Rogue One, the Inquisitors holding this prisoner, and them, having some connection to Vader, because Vader's in charge of the Inquisitors in the Inquisitory, from what we understand, but it seems like he will be coaching from afar. He'll be in the castle doing something different, maybe even trying to resurrect Padme, much like we saw in the comic books, and that could be really, really interesting. And we, of course, have heard that Hayden Christensen is going to have a lot to do in this series, that we're going to see some of his face, maybe in the back to tank, but perhaps even some crazy shots of like him in an Iron Man type thing where you can see inside Vader's helmet. So Hayden's going to be doing a lot, but he wasn't in the suit when they were fighting. And this whole thing is about the big fight, but I find it fascinating that like the Inquisitors have Leia, Obi-Wan, very powerful, leaves Tatooine, goes out, apparently will whoop up on the Inquisitors, but likely not kill them, because we know how most of them meet their ends and, things like that. So he comes in, subdues them, takes Leia, because it says the success of that mission gets Vader to leave his castle. So Vader's going to be like, fine, I'll do it myself, and leave the castle in his TIE Advanced. And then there's going to be a big showdown, right? There's going to be a big battle. And this is the rematch of the century that Kathleen Kennedy sort of teased out. And apparently this fight is going to be bananas. And this idea of both Vader and Obi-Wan being even more powerful than they were during Revenge of the Sith, that's a really exciting prospect to me, especially Obi-Wan being very strong with the Force. I think that's fascinating. And again, I hope it ties to his training with Qui-Gon Jinn, and it might further have us understand why Vader says what he says in A New Hope, why he's so cautious around his old master, and ultimately why we totally realize that Ben Kenobi sacrificing himself was done of his own volition. He's doing something within the cosmic force there, not so much even trying to beat Vader as much as set Luke up to be the one that can save the galaxy. I love the idea that he's going to immediately know that it's Anakin, and that's really cool, man. There's going to be a lot of interesting dialogue back and forth between those characters, a lot of oomph to that scene, and the visuals sound crazy. It sounds crazy. It took over 2 weeks to shoot. It's going to be probably one of the most epic things we've seen in Star Wars in a long time. I think Deborah Chow, she does pretty much everything that you need to do very, very well. She does dialogue, she does suspense, she does build-up, and she does action really, really well. So I can't wait to see what she does with Anakin and Obi-Wan fighting with enhanced force power and just crazy abilities towards the end of the show. I'm wondering though, and I really hope that Vader doesn't get totally punked out, that within the dark side he's able to really draw upon some crazy power and ability. But there is this idea here that he's going to say, when last we met, I was but the learner, meaning that there's some kind of crazy knowledge that Obi-Wan has tapped into. I really think that now we're going to realize Anakin was referring to this moment, to their last encounter. And so that's really, really interesting to me. Is Obi-Wan just literally going to eclipse Vader in this show? How fascinating would that be? And as a fan, would you be upset about that? I mean, I think at the end of the day, Vader should be so strong that he's not going to obviously kill him, and he's going to escape. Obi-Wan, that is. So Obi-Wan will have to escape, but it's really, really interesting. I had not thought that Obi-Wan is going to be that much more powerful during this show, and that if they were going to have some kind of fight, which was again hinted at last year in December when Kathleen said that it's going to be the rematch of the century, I really thought Obi-Wan would likely be able to handle himself, but would be using some trickery to get away, right? But it's possible he leaves Anakin for dead, again. Wouldn't that be absolutely fascinating? Perhaps we see Hayden as the suit gets blown off or something like that, and we see Hayden there, and there's this one more sort of dig from Obi-Wan. Now, the other question I have here is with regards to Leia Organa. Is it going to be framed in a way that is just because Leia is the daughter of Bail, and they're perhaps using her to get Bail to vote certain ways and to help the Empire further obtain its reach, right? Because it can't be the case that Anakin realizes that this is his daughter. He realizes that much, much later in Return of the Jedi. So I really hope they don't change that, and I think they'll likely have it so that the Empire just believes this is someone they can use to manipulate Bail Organa, as the leak says here, to the cause, right? But Obi-Wan, of course, will know this is the daughter of Anakin, and that is very important. He has to get her away from the Inquisitors. If the Inquisitors figure that out, if Vader figures that out, they might turn the girl, train the girl in the dark side, and that would be horrible for the galaxy, obviously. So it's pretty intriguing stuff, man. The show sounds dope. Definitely a lot of fun stuff in this leak. It lines up with a lot of the other reports we have talked about. So I'm going to leave it there. I want to know what you think about this, guys. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Like this video if you liked it. Subscribe to our channel to get more of our content popping up in your recommended feed. And go check out our live streaming channel, man. I'm sure we'll be talking about this soon in a live stream, even though we like to try to keep spoilers just in videos. We always get into all kinds of talks during the live stream. So go check that out. It's really, really fun as well. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.